Collections are one of the absolute best ways to have your UPIX invested and earning in the back end while you work on your flips on the front end portfolio. Your back end portfolio may only be 20%. Or it may be 80% or more, but the key is that these properties allow you the freedom to continue growing in the game with a constant flow of UPIX. Hey there, John Henry here, SSFTG. Welcome to the video. I hope it finds you well and deep in piles of UPIX. If this is your first time to the channel, welcome, my friend. I hope to earn your like and subscription today. Make sure to stick around to see how to unlock the top 3 collections with only 9 properties that every new Uplander should look to complete today. Collections are a very large part of the game, whether you're completing collections to stack the chips next to your explorer's name for those sick bragging rights, or you're stacking for earnings. They play a large role in the game's earning mechanics. So first off, what are collections? Well, collections you'll find in the little 3 dots at the bottom, and then you'll find it right here under collections. And collections are, well, collections of properties that fit a certain criteria. In some cases, these may be tens of thousands of properties, like general city collections like the San Franciscan. There are a lot of properties because anything in San Francisco counts for this one. Very easy to complete and therefore usually generally cheaper on the property side of things. But then on the other end of things, there are going to be other collections that are significantly more aggressively priced. If we go all the way to the end, we have things like the Curator. One thing that does stand out while we're looking at these is the reward right here, as well as the boost. Both of those things are incredibly important when we're looking at these, but that basically tells you what you're going to get and what they offer as far as reward multipliers. Generally, the more difficult the collection is to get, the more the boost and the more the reward, but also the properties aren't going to be very cheap. Other collections like, the Curator is an example, since that's right on the screen. In San Francisco, there are only 24 properties in the entire game that even fit the criteria to complete this collection. There are only 10 to 12 of them for sale, and these are going for astronomically expensive prices due to their extreme limited supply. And they're usually floating around 100 million UPIX, which is basically not for sale at that point. And there are only 2 for sale in USD, and those are around $9,000 each. Now, here's a caveat, right? At the bottom, these little circles tell you that you need 3 properties. So let's say you came in and you sank $18,000 into 2 properties, you would still need to buy 1 more, and the only other one available is $100,000. That's an incredibly expensive collection. We've got to back up a little bit more to something, first off, that's a bit more realistic and things that we can kind of attain, but we got to break down the booster and the reward. When you unlock and complete a collection, you will have the reward, and that's what you'll get. So if I complete this collection with 3 properties that fit the criteria of being in Mission District, then I'll get 1,300 UPIX, and I'll also unlock the 1.4x bonus in terms of the multiplier on my on the properties that are in that collection. Now, the booster is a boost to the base earnings, and the base earnings, at least at the time of recording this, are 14.3% APY off of the mint cost. This means that if you mint a property for 100,000 UPIX, it's going to earn you 14,300 UPIX annually. The boost multiplies the 14.3%. So, as an example, the Curator at a 3x boost, 14.3 times 3, is 42.9% APY. That is insane, for lack of better words. Please, please, please remember that the 14.3% APY is based on the minting cost, right? Not the purchase price, the minting cost. I'm circling this. I know it says purchase price. This is how much I minted it for. It's the minting cost that it has nothing to do with how much you paid. If you bought a property off the secondary market that was above mint price, you're still only going to be earning off of the mint cost. To find the mint value, it's relatively straightforward. All you have to do is click this little More button here and use the breakdown. Now, as far as the breakdown goes, don't use a boosted one. Let me use a different property really quick for this. So this is a great example. Here we have a property that is an earning without being modified at 96.86. So if we take this math, remember this is monthly, so 96.86 times 12, that's 1,162.32. From here, we know what the monthly earnings are, and the monthly earnings are 14.3% of the mint cost. So we can take this, divide it by 0.143, and that will generally give us how much this property costed to mint. Now, it's not going to be exact, but this should get you at least in the ballpark of how much this costs. Another way to easily see it is to use upxland.me, and you can search for specific addresses. And once you have that specific address searched, you'll be able to pull it up and see the mint cost. Now, if you remember, the calculator said around 81.20-ish or something like that. And the actual mint price, this is my property, so I know it minted for 8,008. So it gets you right in the ballpark. Even after the fees, it's right around the good sweet spot to figure out how much it costed to mint. Collections are obviously important then, and some of them are incredibly rare and expensive to even get. That said, every Uplander has access to these game-wide 3 collections that can easily get you earning enough UPIX every day to sustain you in your building process. The first one, and you'll see this regardless of where you are, it doesn't matter where you search for a collection, it's going to show up in all of them because it is a global game-wide collection, and that's going to be Newbie, right here. We've got King of the Street, right here, and we also have City Pro, right there. Everybody has access to those, and they are some really good ways to build that continuous UPIX flow. So Newbie is a single property collection, right? It only takes 1 to complete, so I mean, literally, there's one of the easiest ones. It is the easiest one in the game to complete. Everybody can do it, so long as you buy a property. But along with that, I like to put properties in here that I like keeping because it's a me value thing. I chose my Palisades property to park here because I love that property. I'm not going to be selling it. And it might as well earn a little bit more because it was so freaking expensive, right? The bonus is 1.1x. You'll see that 1.1x right there, and you'll know that it's active because it'll say active. If it's not active, make sure that you activate it. But the bonus is 1.1x, which may not seem like much, but 1.1x, take 14.3% times 1.1 gives us 15.73%, and that's a very healthy increase. King of the Street is the next collection and is a bit more difficult to finish off, but that's fine though, because it offers a 1.3x bonus, and, you know, if we're taking that out of that 14.3% APY, that kicks it up to 18.59%, and it's on 3 properties to boot, right? It does require 3 properties. That does mean that it'll be a bit more expensive to complete, but it's also going to be much more rewarding. The more expensive the base mint you can afford for the 3 properties, the better, because those earnings will get heavily boosted. The great part for King of the Street is, well, the only criteria is that you have to have 3 properties on the same street, right? That's it. It's generally fairly simple to do, and there are plenty of cities that still have properties lining the streets waiting to be minted for this collection. It's a super easy one to get, but it pays incredibly well on your properties. If we go out as an example, I'll just zoom out, maybe to not downtown. Downtown probably doesn't have a whole lot. Let's go over to more of a housing district area. And we zoom in, and if I wanted to get 3, bingo bango, there's my King of the Street collection right there. Like I said, it's relatively easy to get a hold of, but it is going to cost a bit more. The last one is also the biggest of the 3, and that's going to be City Pro, right there in that, and you'll notice that is a big one. It requires 5 properties. The cool thing here, though, is that City Pro, although it is a limited collection, meaning that it's in purple, which is always kind of cool to have those purple chips next to your name, it's not difficult to complete at all. This offers a 1.4x boost, very nice boost, considering that that takes 5 properties from 14.3% to 20.02%. And again, it's on 5 properties. The only criteria is that they're in the same city. So, again, the larger the mint size, the more you earn and get from boosted earnings. And this is another one that is incredibly easy to finish off, but it is super profitable. Let's nerd out for a minute because I love me some numbers, and that's just how my brain works. Between these 3 collections, we would have a total of 9 properties. Assuming that you minted at the base price in LA, and I'm going to do non-FSA just to be safe, it would be $7,992. We do have a 5% fee, so that's $83.91.6 to mint. 8391.6 to mint at 9 properties means that we've got a total of $75,524.4, which would be about $75.53 if we were putting that in USD of total minting costs. Here's the cool part though. Although it cost you $75,524.4 UPIX to mint, it will be earning $14,399.75 annually and $1,199.97 per month. Right? So, I mean, that's ridiculous. The earnings, because of those different boosted earnings, just sitting there doing nothing is earning quite a bit. You're earning an average of about 17% APY between those collections. Now, again, the value of every property that you mint is going to drastically modify how much you're going to earn from these, but you can always see how much the earnings are going to be simply by clicking on the property, a property that you have owned or someone else at least owns. Click on more, and then you'll see the standalone earnings here, and if there are any collections that are viable for this. When you click on the collections, it will tell you this one could fit King of the Street and Newbie. Of course, pretty much everything fits Newbie, but that will show you that this by itself is earning 137.89. Now, I don't know how much it costed to mint, but that's how you find the actual values. Collections are obviously a big part of the game, and knowing how to play even the easy ones can put you ahead of the pack by a mile. Get those collections set up, collected, and activated. If you aren't in Upland yet, it's going to be hard to earn anything without getting in the game, so make sure to click the referral link in the description below. The referral link gets you in the game with some starter UPIX, and if you decide to invest some cash into the game, you get a huge 50% bonus with a reward cap of 50,000 UPIX. Be careful though, because you only get that bonus if you use the link to join in the first place. I hope this video helped you not only understand what collections are, but also the best way to get them to work for you and the hard numbers behind them. Keep in mind, the APY will change as time goes on, and they've been super transparent about that from the very beginning, in fact. Depending on when you're watching this, they may be a bit different, so adjust the math accordingly. If you have any questions, thoughts, topics for new videos, or your best Street View properties for the shout out that we do every once in a while, drop them in the comments below. I always love hearing from you all. Have an amazing time in the metaverse. Thanks for watching.